Passing through the veil of mystery, seeking answers no one is brave to ask. This is Bound to Truth.
Yo, everybody. Chris Lopez and John Hershey from Bound to Truth. We're having a little special episode today because John messaged me about some pretty serious stuff, pretty interesting stuff, especially since
The
after the
end of
Pope's death.
times are here.
Yeah, it could be for sure. We have no idea. I did some research on
Listening.
this person, but John messaged me about this guy. Supposedly, it's funny because I was listening to it because he's claiming he's not the Antichrist and so forth, and he's having other claims who the Antichrist is, but it kind of contradicts his position and what he is claiming to be. And it's quite interesting about how he's molding a lot of his beliefs with both Judaism, Christianity, and Muslim. And his name is Abdullah Hassim Abba al-Sadiq. I think I got that right. It's probably the best thing I ever did. I mean, same wise, different name, country. But anyways, I'll just say this. This guy looks like the Darth Sidious Lord of Jesus in his look. But John,
I
yeah,
I'll tell you one thing. Isn't it kind of crazy that when you look at his face, he kind of looks like all the pictures of Jesus that have ever been like drawn in
oh,
history?
dude, like the
It's
between the
kind
pro,
of
yeah,
like it actually kind of gave me the chills when I saw him at first. I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Why
yeah,
does he look so familiar?" And then I was like, "Oh my God, he looks like every depiction of Christ
yeah,
that has ever been done." He's
absolutely.
a very masculine individual. He's a very
Mhm.
handsome looking individual. He's a very well spoken individual. He's very robotic with his like actions and his language and how he speaks. His English is impeccable. You can't even hear his accent in there. He's done a very good job at learning how to be a public speaker. That's for sure. This man is at least very versed in what he does, and he has proclaimed himself to be the successor to Muhammad, to
Yeah,
be the successor to Peter, to be the successor to Simon, to be the successor
yeah,
to Jesus of
exact,
Nazareth. And he
exactly.
and he not just a prophet. Many people have come forward and said that they are prophets of Muhammad. I could come forward and say I'm a prophet of Muhammad. Like, you could just do that and then it just preach the word. It's like coming out and saying that you're a preacher.
Right.
Um, but one thing that you don't hear very often, if at all, that I can think of, at least in my lifetime, I know that there was one back in the early 60s where a man came forward saying that he was Jesus or he was Christ, and he had this big old following, and then he ended up killing everybody in like one of those weird suicide things,
Was
that
that
he
was that Jonestown?
I can't remember his
Is
name.
is that is the guy with that like the black hair and glasses, sunglasses, and moved to a different country?
That
So,
kind of sounds about right.
and there's a band called Accept called they had a song called Don't Drink the Kool-Aid. Or actually the song's called Kool-Aid.
Oh my God, I forgot that the dog was out here and I started hearing scratching behind me. I was like, this is it.
No,
He's
no,
in my they're in the trees.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyways,
yeah,
this man has come forward to saying that he is the Messiah.
yeah,
He
yeah,
is proclaiming to be the Messiah. And somebody has to either one of three things if you're going to make a claim so bold and outrageous and wild as claiming to be the Messiah, claiming to be God,
yeah,
basically, or a God. And that is either A, you know something,
right.
B, you're capable of something,
Mhm.
or C, you're absolutely fucking crazy. Because
Yeah,
nobody's going to come out and say that they're God and not have either a way to prove it or have somebody in their pocket who can help them try to prove that. Because
yeah.
he's going to be called on it really quickly. Like this is me calling him out on it, like saying, "You say that you're the Messiah, prove it,
Yeah. Well,
prove it."
here's the interesting thing though. When I was watching some of the videos, and we're gonna go more deep into this guy because supposedly his birth and everything has a lot of similarities to Christ's birth and everything in the prophecies, and he's
And
really
even like the region that he was from, like
yeah,
biblically, everything kind of matches. But prove it.
yeah,
If you are the Messiah, prove it.
Well, the interesting thing is,
Because
yeah.
if Christ were here and I were to ask him to show me that you are God, or show me a way that you are Christ, or show me that you are the Christ, or how you were, he would do it,
Well,
because he had no problem showing people that he was embodied by the Holy Spirit with his miracles.
so John, I think I know how he, if Jesus came here and proved he was Jesus, he would say fill his buckets full of water and he turns it to tequila.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, you're again. Now, I'm
You're,
not saying that if
you're the
this man
Messiah.
shows up at my front door and turns my water spigot out to just pouring out straight tequila, then I won't be like, yeah, he's something, but he ain't the Messiah.
Hey, good
He's
tequila, buddy,
not.
but hey, no,
He's
no.
not the Messiah. And I'm here to say that this man, even if he does perform miracles, is not the Messiah.
And it's
He is the
interesting.
false prophet. He is the Black Pope. He is the Antichrist, even though he says he's not.
Well, he says he is,
Because,
and he says he is the Pope. That's what's
yeah,
interesting.
he said that he
Yeah,
is the true Pope. He
yeah,
is he's holding claim to the whole diocese, and he's also holding claim saying that he is the true Messiah,
yeah,
and that he
absolutely.
is an almighty being, and that he is a powerful being. But as Christians, as devout Christians, if you know anything about the Bible, you know that he is a deceiver,
Hmm.
and he is here to deceive. He is here to lie. He is here to perform miracles like Christ did. He is here to be Christ-like, but he is not the Messiah. He is not Christ.
Right.
He is a false prophet. He's a liar.
I was the videos I was watching that Amy gave to me. That he, it's funny because he says it's almost contradictory. He's like, I am not the Messiah. I am not the Antichrist. But he comes to be the Pope. And I'm not saying the popes were Jesus or the Messiahs, but
He's
he's
claiming to be a
claiming.
successor of Christ, which is
But
saying that you are
yeah, exactly.
like,
And the thing is too is that one of his claims he made, and I'll definitely put a link to the video on this podcast. This, we're not going to be going too long because it was last minute. But John has been awesome to just be on here and share his discovery. Is that one of the things I want to cross over? And again, we'll do more of a full podcast about this guy and see what's the information provided, and you make a decision yourself. Is that he is talked about how there was a chant, which you'll hear in the video that we'll have linked, regarding before the Pope died, about how supposedly there was a miracle that happened, that they were
yeah.
chanting something, and he compared it to the Battle of Jericho with Joshua when everybody got brought down, and how a miraculous thing happened where the Pope died after their chant and so
Yeah.
forth. Which I'm like, wow,
And
that's
and
that's
I
and
I
yeah,
seen the I saw those videos that they were showing with the people holding up the banners and the
yep,
chanting, and then the Pope was announced deceased.
hmm,
And I don't really know much to say about that, other than even you go back to the ancient prophecies that literally said that Pope Francis is the last pope, and if that's the case, these prophecies would say that the next pope is the dark pope, is the anti-pope.
well, and that's the thing too, is that there was a video that you sent and talked about regarding after Pope Francis has died, that there was a bunch of, and we talked about this last podcast about there was crosses that are upside down, right?
Yeah.
And by the Pope, by the prof, by Saint Malachi and his prophecy, believe it or not,
Yeah.
the church does not talk about a lot. It's funny how they acknowledge him as a saint, but they don't talk about his prophecy, which is kind of
Of course, they're
interesting.
not going to talk about his
Yeah,
prophecy,
but
because
but they give
it's
the title.
knowledge that they don't want people to be completely privy on, because they want us to stay ignorant, so we don't know what's coming. So
Right,
people don't see the signs in front of them, don't see the fact that the Pope has passed, and now a man is coming forward saying that he is the successor of Christ.
right. And it's interesting. And so when they came up the sermon with the upside down crosses, and supposedly the last pope was supposed to be Peter the Great, which Peter
Yeah.
died on a cross upside down. The reason why
Upside down.
he died upside down was because he told the people in that area, like, I'm not worthy to
I'm not
die.
worthy to die like my Lord.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny. It's funny. I was watching a video. Oh, did you send this to me or not? Or I think you did. Oh, yeah, you did. Regarding the sign of the cross.
Hmm.
I was like, oh
I
my
had sent you that a while
gosh.
ago, but I think that one kind of breezed over your head. The fact that how you're signing the cross
Yeah.
is your how it's supposed to be done is
Mhm.
it's upside down.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't it be
and how it cuts the connection from the brain and the heart
from the
because of
brain
that.
to
I
the
was
heart.
like,
It is
holy tamale.
it's
And
signifying cutting off your emotional from your logical,
yeah, and it's funny, he was
which is
sent
a
this to me.
huge deal because the mind runs the heart, and the heart controls the mind, so to speak.
Well, thanks a lot, John. When I go to church with my family, if ever, that I'm not gonna do sign of the cross because they're gonna be like, why?
You should do it backwards just to fuck with them. Could you imagine being at mass and just everybody is praying and you're just
They'll ask me, it's like, why are you doing it backwards? I'm dyslexic.
you'd be like, actually, if you think about it, I'm doing it right, and just hold up a crucifix and be like,
Yeah.
turn it upside down and sign
No,
the
no,
cross.
no, knowing me, I'll have a holy water ready and just throw it. I'm saying, power of Christ compels you. Stop judging
Yeah.
me.
The the priest will just grab you and just start dunking your head in holy water.
Oh my God, like Shaquille O'Neal and the Lakers. But anyway, so this guy, and again his name, Abdullah.
Abdullah.
He definitely looks that Christ figure in a way.
God,
Uh,
does he ever?
and you're right. He's like the combination of the Middle Eastern Renaissance and doing a little research again. We'll do more about it. Is that he's actually Egyptian and American. His mother's American. His father, I think, is Egyptian. And so he's just so well versed. And he talks about who the Antichrist is. When he claims I'm not the Antichrist, he says it's America. He talked about the Statue of Liberty, which there's been a lot of theories about that many years. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on the podcast, but definitely privately, that the Statue of Liberty, and the Big
Is
Apple.
symbolizing
Yeah,
the
there's a lot
Statue
of,
of Liberty, symbolizing of Lucifer himself.
and not to say that he may not be right. I'm not saying that America's the Antichrist, but is there satanic things going on in America? Of course, I think it's going around the world, not just America. But like other things, is that he'd be mixing half truth with the whole lie for his
Yeah.
agenda,
And
right?
that's gonna be what he's going to be doing too. Because a lot of these things are going to be very believable and are going to make you question things. But if he is claiming to be a Messiah,
Mm.
if he is claiming to be a successor of Christ, then he is claiming to be the Antichrist, even though he says he's not.
Right. And so let me ask you this, John, because when I watch the videos and him talking, it's what's the stage now? Why now? Why put yourself out there? Why wouldn't you be a little more cloak and dagger? Knowing how the devil, Satan, we talked about who's the devil, right? We talked about many times, but why would you put yourself out now? Like, I mean, how are you going to gain traction with such bold claims? Oh,
Oh, there you are. I
okay,
was just
okay.
calling you to tell you that you just kind of like
Oh, okay,
disappeared on me.
okay. Oh, my internet's unstable. Oh, of course. Oh, we're good. We're good.
Of
We're
course,
good.
great,
We're
great.
yeah.
The Antichrist is in the interweb, and he's trying to silence us.
Yeah, you know what? That's a case in point. But going back to my question, if you didn't hear it, is why put yourself out now? Why, why wouldn't you be cloak and dagger? Why, like Jesus in a way
Why
was
not? The man is obviously, I didn't see how old he was, but I'm just gonna guesstimate he's in his 40s.
1983. He's born 1983. I can't believe I remember this. So he's at least 2 years younger than me. So he's about 41.
So he's 76. So, so like I said, he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
This man is at the prime time of his life for being who he is. He's
Right.
going to be a well-respected person. He's at that pivotal point where people are going to respect him because of his age.
Right.
He's well-educated, obviously. Um,
Oh, he
and what better
he is well educated. He asks
and
great
what
questions to the
better
interviewer.
time?
Yeah.
What better time to come forward and proclaim yourself as a Messiah or successor of the Lord
Right.
than right after the Pope dies?
Exactly. And two, when he was asking questions to an interview, as I'm watching some more videos, again, we'll get more depth to it when we do it in the future. He was asking questions to the interviewer, almost like how Christ answers questions to the Pharisees.
Yeah.
And I caught that. And they're very good questions. Again, not giving this guy credit, it's just a good sales pitch.
We're saying that just like what the Bible says, and just like what
Yeah.
everything tells us, is that this man, that the deceiver, the Antichrist, will be exactly like this man.
Well, it's funny because it's
He will
just
make
like,
you he will
yeah.
make you want to like him and believe him.
And there's been, and I did see there was one particular miracle. Again, I can't say it's real. I'm not going to go there.
I wouldn't even, yeah.
Yeah, and about how this elder lady was dying and he healed her, and now she had extended life. And there's a huge claim by her, that woman and the daughter. I remember there was one too a few years back, a Jewish guy who wore glasses who was supposed to be the Messiah for the Jewish people. I'm like, here's my hypocritical thought. Well, if he's the Messiah, why
Why
isn't he
would you wear
glasses?
glasses? I'm just
Yeah.
assuming Christ had 20/20
I, I,
because
I,
if he didn't, he could just peel the scales from his eyes and see again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, heck, hey, the way Jesus got beat, he didn't break a bone, which is prophesied, by the way. By the way, that's a prophetic thing in the Old Testament. Um, and the people are like, well, I thought the Old Testament was about the that was a bad God. We're not going there. We're that's a whole
Yeah,
different
we're not.
subject.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a whole different subject.
we're here talking about and just kind of just getting our views out quickly on
Yeah,
this individual, so we
exactly.
can get the ball rolling on this because I mean it's unfolding in front of our eyes. It's happening,
Yeah, it's
probably
insane.
happening now as we're speaking, especially if they're claiming miracles. Like if 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 he's doing miracles, I want to see one. I know he's still the Antichrist. I know he's not,
Well, here's the interesting
but I
thing.
still would like to see him perform one. Just to
I would like
come
to
on,
get it.
dude,
I would like
put
to
your
get
money where your
him.
mouth is.
I would like to get an interview with him.
I think that this man right now would be the hottest ticket to get an interview with.
Yeah.
But if you can reach him at 1-800 Antichrist, hold on, let me actually. You know what? Just for a funny thing, I'm gonna put in my phone
Are
one
you
eight
actually putting that in your
hundred.
phone to see if it works? That's awesome. That's amazing.
Eventually, it's showing a disconnected number.
That looks like you're too holy, buddy. Disconnected number. That's funny. And John's typing. He says he since he can't call the devil, he's going to text him.
Let me try this.
Okay. Who are you texting? Is
Okay,
that the same?
one.
The Why John's typing? The next episode is who's the devil's phone number? Is it 1-800
Let's
Antichrist? 1-800 Hail
Yep.
Satan? 1-800
1-216-333-1810.
uh-huh.
1-216-333-1810.
Okay.
We're sorry. The number you are trying to reach is no longer in service.
So it was in service.
That is apparently right there. That is the number to call the devil. Oh,
What? Well, what?
so I hung up the phone and it was still beeping.
What?
Yeah, I hung up the phone and it was the call was ended and it was going boop 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 like I had just left my line off the hook.
Yeah,
This is a cell phone.
you might want to throw that phone away.
I'm
What is
dropping it off at your house.
Of course you would. What if he called you back and like, what would you say?
I'd be like, get on a plane and come to my house, bitch. I'm putting you on the podcast.
Oh my God.
By the way, we're gonna test the Messiah theory. I hope
I know.
that nipple is level 4.
So
No, just
here's a question for you, because you know how a lot of different sects, like we have the Crusade and everything, how they war on God by murder and death. And by the way, there's
are you saying that we need another crusade? Because I just bought a sword.
no. Okay, there, King Arthur. Listen, what I'm saying is that
I would
it's
prefer Vlad the Impaler.
well, there's extreme Islam with we call terrorism, right? Which and there's also extreme Christians too. And they're
There's
in both
extremists
sides.
from all
There
sides
there
of religion.
there's extremists in all sides of religion that always equal murder and death in the name of God. What was interesting is that when he was talking about that chant out there at the Vatican, right? With the claiming the Pope and death and how it's because of the chant. Um, I have not seen, knock on wood, anything about him claiming violence. And
Yeah,
I And that was interesting because he's got extreme views, he's got extreme comments, he's got
I don't
very
think
yeah.
we will. I think that this man is not one who is going to call for violence. He
So
doesn't
what
seem like the type. Now that nobody really seems like the type, but I don't think that's going to be his angle.
I don't think so either. It just by his approach, like he's well spoken. I mean, he's very kind of approachable personality.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is too is your thought, John, is I was hearing the chanting in those videos from the people in the crowd there. They sound like a whole multi. I mean, again, I'm just hearing it because it was a dark atmosphere with the crowd.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It didn't seem like one cultured group. It sounded like a
No.
diverse cultured group. Like there's some secret follow. I don't want to say secret following, but it's almost like it's all over around the world, which is kind of
Well,
interesting.
think about it. This man has been alive for 40, what is it? You said 41 years?
Yep.
41 years of a man who now is proclaiming to be this Messiah. There is a good solid 26, 30, even 30 years of this man probably practicing to be the Messiah. That's now, and then let me give him 27 years of educated movement towards being the Messiah. In 27 years, you're gonna gain a following. But
Yeah.
how has he gone under the radar for this long?
I
Because he's
don't.
been smart, just
I
like
don't know.
Jesus. Jesus went under the radar.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of
Or that
yeah.
the powers that could be in the world, have they been keeping it on hush hush because he said he wasn't ready yet because they know something we don't?
Well, you can always go back to Gnostic texts like from the Book of Thomas, right? He talks
Yeah.
about his missing years, which is quite interesting in Egypt. And it's funny in the Gnostic Book of Thomas, Jesus wasn't always a good kid in a way. And I'm not saying that's true. It's just you know,
I'm sure Jesus did some Jesus things, but could you imagine trying to ground the Christ?
they
Go
tried
into the
to
room.
they
Go
try
into the room.
they tried to when he
No.
was 12 years old, getting lost, right?
Yeah.
He pretty much told his parents, dude, I was at my dad's house. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was at
I was
dad's.
with God.
Jeez. When's if one of your kids said, I was at my dad's house? What would you say?
I'd say good. Tell him to start paying some rent.
Well, well, I'm assuming that Joseph had some great holy benefits from raising Jesus with Mary.
I just
and
hope that he had a holy dong.
oh, geez. Oh, Lord.
There you go.
Everybody out there, we're just having some fun. Don't be like blasphemy and start
No.
crucifying us being extreme, okay? We're having some fun. If God gave us humor, it means he's got some humor too. Let's just say that. But
Anyways,
yeah,
I gotta wrap this one up, buddy.
yeah,
I got
well,
a baby to put to bed. But everybody, there are signs. There are signs that our world has given us. Rivers drying, the Euphrates drying up,
yeah,
things happening in Jordan, the way our government is, one world unity, the that Satanism and not even Satanism, the worship of evil is all around us and in our face and happening left and right. And
right.
now the Pope is dead. Apparently the last Pope, the next Pope is supposed to be the Black Pope, and now a man is coming forward saying that he is a successor of
Well,
Christ.
he could be this. He could be either the Messiah, the dark Messiah,
Yeah.
or the dark prophet of
Yeah.
the Messiah. We don't know. We have no idea. But everybody stay tuned.
Either way, this
yeah.
isn't good, and pay attention. This man who's coming forward, unless his teachings are completely about Christ and about following Christ and doing what is right for the world, for Christ, he's a liar.
Yeah, agreed. And everybody out there too, if people think that's fantastical, there's no way this guy has any movement or anything like that. Yeah. Say that to other leaders like Napoleon, Hitler, all those people.
Yeah.
Do
go.
not let your guard down. Do not let your guard down.
Yeah.
Okay, John's gonna get back and take care of his family and get prepped for the World War III.
I gotta prepare myself for the Antichrist. I gotta go dip my green tips in holy water.
Oh, dude, get your exorcism ready, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what they should do? A movie instead of the Pope's Exorcist? They should call it the Hershey Exorcist.
Yeah, they should call it this fucking guy over here. Just that's the name of the title. This fucking guy over here.
All right, everybody, stay tuned. We'll be going more deep into this. I'll pull some research on it. And otherwise, you know how to reach us. We talked about it before. Have a great night and see you on the other side. Good night.